The Griffin and Kraken Knights are finally on Pick-a-Brick, but in North America they sold out almost immediately. Today I'll show you how to find them, how to get restock alerts, and why this drop might be a turning point for LEGO Castle. To easily find these parts without any direct links, you can go to Pick-a-Brick, use the search within set feature, find the vending machine, and then check minifigure parts and accessories so that you're only seeing figure parts. That said, I wanted to make this a bit easier, so I've put together a Google Doc with links to each faction and their parts, along with some other pieces that pair well with them like weapons, helmets, armor, and even parts like this miscellaneous pair of legs that I've seen work well with the Krakens. I'll leave the Griffin and Kraken faction links directly in the description as well, and on the Google Doc I've also included links to the other factions currently on Pick-a-Brick, like the Snake and Horse Knights. I'll keep this document updated with all the current Pick-a-Brick castle factions, so you can bookmark the page if you want some easy links. I'm still trying to expand these links, so if you have part suggestions to add, leave the Pick-a-Brick element ID in the comments. As you probably noticed, this Pick-a-Brick drop was pretty hectic, with parts going out of stock really fast. The Griffin parts were the first to go, which honestly didn't surprise me since I think they're the more popular faction, but I didn't expect them to disappear that fast. The shield sold out just 2 hours after release, and for reference, when the Horse and Snake Knights dropped, the first part didn't go out of stock until about a day and a half later. A lot of people have been blaming scalpers, and while I'm sure that's part of it, there's also just been a huge resurgence in people getting into LEGO Castle. I'll bet a ton of army builders picked up a good chunk of these figures, which is actually good in the long run since it signals to LEGO that we want castle stuff. For European Pick-a-Brick, everything is still in stock at the time of recording, and I've noticed that stock over there generally lasts longer after major drops. It's possible they just get more initial inventory, but I'm honestly not sure. So what can you actually do to get these parts aside from just waiting and hoping you get lucky next time? There's actually a really handy resource called the Bricks and Pieces Parts Availability Discord, and it has a Pick-a-Brick bot that tracks stock for both North America and Europe. It can notify you when specific parts or even any castle parts come back in stock. To do this, first you'll need to join the Discord, and I'll leave a link to it in the description as well as the Google Doc. Once you're in, make sure you select these two options so the proper channels are visible. Then head over to notification setup, and I personally have notifications on for new parts so I know when a drop begins, but if you only care about important castle parts getting restocked, you can select the Castle EU or Castle NA role to get notified when parts from that category go in stock. If you don't want notifications for every castle part, you can also track parts individually. To do that, find the element you want on Pick-a-Brick, copy its element ID, and then go to the Discord botversation channel and type the command !add, paste the element ID, and then type in stock at the end, just like I showed here. Now you'll get a Discord ping when that element comes back in stock. If you're in North America, you'll also need to type notification country US since it defaults to the UK. Something important is that you need to have at least one part already on your list for the country command to work. Using my Pick-a-Brick links will make this super easy since you can simply run down the list and add all the parts you want. I'm personally waiting on some of the new parts to restock so I can place another order since the Kraken legs weren't available when I made my first one. If you missed the initial drop, you don't need to panic. The vending machine isn't being discontinued until the end of 2027, so there'll be plenty of time for restocks and the hype to die down. Honestly, I'm just happy we're getting these figures on Pick-a-Brick at all. There was some concern that LEGO wouldn't release them because they thought it might affect vending machine sales too much, but I'm glad that that wasn't the case. The shields are definitely overpriced, just like the Snake and Horse Knight shields, but despite that, the Griffin shield still sold out in 2 hours. That tells me LEGO probably won't lower the price anytime soon. Luckily, the rest of the parts are priced pretty normally, and actually if you live in Europe, I'd recommend checking Bricklink for the shields because Legoland Germany sells them for around 50 cents, and a lot of sellers resell them for just over $1. Unfortunately, if you're in the US like me, recent tariffs have basically killed cheap shipping from most European countries, so we'll probably just have to deal with Pick-a-Brick pricing unless these parts show up in Build-A-Minifigure stations. If you do want to save money on LEGO purchases, you can get free cash back between 2.5 and 15% by using Rakuten. Right now, you can also get a $50 cashback bonus on your first purchase of $50 or more if you sign up using my affiliate link in the description. You can essentially get a free $50 pick-a-brick order, and it also greatly helps support the channel. Now, I think a lot of us are wondering what LEGO Castle is going to look like in 2026 and beyond. There isn't a ton of confirmed information right now, aside from the upcoming LEGO Ideas Sea Serpent gift with purchase that should be coming sometime this year. There's also the upcoming Series 29 CMF in June, which is supposed to be a classic themed series, although based on what I've heard, I'm not setting high expectations. There's of course the usual Bricklink designer program sets, those being the Alchemist Shop, Duskmark Keep, and the Sleepy Dragon Inn, which look fantastic, but aren't really the same thing as getting actual castle sets from LEGO. I predict we'll probably get one big castle set this year to release alongside the Sea Serpent and replace the Lion Knight's castle as the adult-focused flagship castle set. I think a Black Knight's castle remake is a likely option, but this is all speculation. LEGO has to be seeing the surge in castle popularity with pick-a-brick drops like this selling out fast, castle sets constantly being top voted in the Bricklink designer program, and the sheer popularity of just about any castle CMF figure. I don't think a full wave of castle sets is coming this year, but I could definitely see one in 2027 or 2028, and 2028 especially makes sense since that would be the 50th anniversary of the first LEGO castle set. I could totally see them capitalizing on that, similar to what they're doing with Ninjago's 15th anniversary. Either way, 2026 isn't looking too bad for LEGO castle fans, even if there isn't a full castle line. We've at least got 4 new factions to army build and make custom castles for. Let me know which of the new factions is your favorite and if you'll be army building them yourself. If you want to stay up to date on LEGO Castle news, make sure to subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.